What up, YouTube? Welcome to another wonderful video. Today, we have the most amazing deck profile, the budget prize card winning deck, branded Despia. I'm better than everyone else. Nobody's as good as me. Look at this thing. Big prize card. I'm better. Public event playoffs are too easy. Also, Sprite's garbage. So let's get right into this, because this prize card is kind of mid because it's a vanilla monster, but I'm still better than everyone else because I won it. So to start off, we have the Searcher of the deck. 2 Aluber. You don't play 3. 3's bad. 3's cloggy. If you open 2 in your hand, you cry. Because you really can't do anything with the second one, so it's just worthless. You'd rather just search the one or open one. Then you play 3 Despian Tragedy. It's really good. You send it off of opening, and you can send it off branded fusion. You get your searches, and then if you don't use the effect or you have to send 2 that turn to the grave, you have a backup one in grave to re-add branded fusion after you use the first one to search out an Aluber or like a Dramaturge when you use red on it. So it's really insane because it gets you searches on your opponent's turn too. Then you have the one-ofs, which are Adlib, which is your revival for Mirror Jade off of Brandon Red when you use it. And then you have Dramaturge, which is your extra body, and it's basically a big 3k attacker that when your opponent special summons a monster from the extra deck, you just negate the effect. So you can just hold it for, say, their Needle Fiber or something else that's good, like their Toad, possibly, and they're forced to negate it, and then they have to waste that Spright Elf effect to revive it. Then you have 2 Fallen of Albaz. You don't play 3, and you don't play 1. 2 is probably right. You don't want to see it in your hand unless you're playing Dragon Link. Then you can just set it and then contact fuse away their board, and it doesn't matter. But against pretty much anything else, unless you have a Super Poly in your hand, you don't want to see Fawn of Albaz. For the non-Despia branded stuff, we have 2 Edgem Chain. You can play it at 3, but I have 1 spicy tech that I had to cut 1 for, so it works fine. It's probably your best discard, other than Fairy Tale Snow. Fairy Tale Snow is your light target for Branded Fusion that gets you into Albion. If you have a way to trigger Tragedy's effect earlier in your combos. And then for the only monster hand trap, play 3 Ash Blossom. Best hand trap, you play it in every deck. Now onto the spells. We have 3 Branded Fusion. Probably best card in the deck. Gets you to your Lubellion, which gets you to your Mirror Jade or your Albion. It's pretty insane. Dumps your stuff gets effects, U+, it's really good. Then you play 3 Branded Opening, absolutely insane. You usually pair it up with a discard off of Tragedy or Snow or another opening if you have it. Those are probably, or Edgem Chain. Those are your 4 best options that you want to discard off of opening, even though it's not cost. So they would have to ash it, and you still get to keep that extra card in hand. So it's really good. Then I play 2 Brandon Red. You can just cycle this thing with Tragedy. Doesn't matter. You can get to it easy with your Albion dumps. And it's basically a free plus, because you get to draw 2, pop 1 off Chimera, revive your Mirror Jade, and you get a search off Tragedy, which is insane. Then I play 3 Fright for Patchworks. It's kind of bad at 3. So when I side, I usually side 1 out automatically after I win game 1. Other than that, that's about it. It's a free +1, gets you your Poly and Chain. And you play 2 Poly. Playing 3 is very cloggy, and playing 1 isn't enough. Then for another insane card in the deck, 3 Super Poly. Oh, my opponent has a board. Okay, now they don't. Super Poly's good. And then you can trigger effects like Chain off Super Poly, which is really good. Tragedy does not trigger off Super Poly because it's cost. So keep that in mind. 2, Allure Darkness. It's a free +3, or +2 if you have Tragedy in hand. It's absolutely insane because it'll trigger Tragedy's effect, and you get a draw 2. Then for good one-ofs, I play Called by the Grave and Foolish Burial. Foolish, you dump Tragedy, and Tragedy gets you a Luber if you have no plays. Or it can just dump whatever you want in Grave. So it can dump Snow or Adlib, and then if you are like running low on cards to activate, you can activate a Branded Red in hand, and then use that with the stuff in your hand to fusion. So it just facilitates that as well. For the traps, I play 3 Infinite Impermanence. Absolutely insane. Great card. Negates effects. And then for the spice of the deck, I play 3. There can be only 1, because all the fusion monsters are pretty much different types. So it's really good. And then you're never really going to end on more than 1 Despia monster, because they're all fairies. So it doesn't really matter. And you can just play around it, and then your opponent struggles. If they're playing Spright and if they're playing Tier, they have to think a little harder. For the extra deck, I play 2 Mirror Jade, absolutely insane. Banish 1 when it leaves field because of an opponent's card effect. Nuke the board in end phase. That doesn't apply when you revive it off Branded Red, though. Then I have 2 Lubellion. Lubellion's really good. You can use it to shuffle back your Albions or other things that you already sent to the grave, so you have more targets to send off of Mirror Jade that are good. You have 2 Albion, best pitch off of Mirror Jade. 2 Guardian Chimera. You do cycle through this guy, so you might need to revive him sometimes, but the draw 2 pop 1 or draw 1 pop 2 is absolutely insane. The fun card of the deck, Masquerade. Just burn your opponent for 600 every time they activate something. So they're set on 13 activations, which is ridiculous. Then I play 1 Quiritus, beats over any deck that isn't playing fusion monsters. 1 Albulenitus, it searches branded fusion or poly off of Mirror Jade. And then your super poly targets are Mud Dragon, Dragostapelia, and Garura, which is insane. Just absolutely ends Sprite's boards. Oh, you end on Carrot and Elf, or Red and Elf, or Carrot Red and Elf? Who cares? Super Poly. And for the side deck, I feel like it's pretty good. I play 3 Twin Twisters, because you have lots of good things to discard, so it's actually good in this deck. 3 DD Crow for tier, because I don't want their stuff to activate. 3 D-Barrier to call Exceeds on Spright. 3 Dark Ruler No More. Absolutely insane if you're going second. And the most fun side deck card ever, 3 Summoning Curse. When your opponent, or when either player special summons a monster, it's Chainlink 1. You have to banish 1 from your hand. So it gets rid of all of Tier's resources. And it's hilarious. So it's another thing that they have to play around. Well, that was all for this amazing deck profile. It helped me get this another Verse Dragon, which shows that I'm better than everyone else. And that's all. So please like and subscribe, and peace out.